so that Jewish students in the future will finally have the protections that they need and they deserve. But let me be absolutely clear. The fight that Jewish students are waging across the college campuses is not simply a fight for the Jewish people. It is not simply a fight for the state of Israel. It is a fight for the American people. It is a fight for our American country, American people, and it is a fight for American democracy. Because yes, my Harvard classmates will chant death to Israel, but they almost always will chant death to America as well. Yes, they have vandalized our Israeli flags. They have vandalized all of our American flags as well. Yes, they have torn down the hostage posters of Israeli citizens. They have done the exact same thing with American citizens. If you want to help Jewish students, if you want to honor the legacy of Golda Meir, who we are celebrating tonight, then I urge you, make sure that Jewish students are protected on college campuses. Please defy Chuck Schumer and pass the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act now, 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 now. And with that, I want to introduce someone who is an embodiment, a manifestation of everything right with American Jewry, everything right with that fight. It is not often that I can introduce someone who is not just a mentor and a role model, but is also a friend. This is someone who has fought for the American people, someone who has fought for the Jewish people, who invests not just his resources and money, but his time, his talents, and his energy into the United States and to the state of Israel. And it is my honor to call upon that mentor, that role model, and that friend, Bobby Rechnitz.
In her lifetime, Golda Meir talked a lot about Israel being the land and people of no choice. She is frequently quoted as saying that the Jewish state had a secret weapon against its enemies. It had nowhere to go. However, there's an even more perceptive quote from Golda that I've thought a lot about since the October 7th massacre. There can be no compromise. They say we must be dead, and we say we want to be alive. Between life and death, I don't know of a compromise, and that's why we have no choice. For those who forgot, Israel did not start this war, but it is going to end it, because it is the land of no choice, a people that want to live. Those who led, masterminded, and took part in those attacks, and their allies, are no more. Sinwar, Daesh, Nasrallah have all been gratefully removed from the face of the earth, like the blood, with the blood of those that they spilled, avenged. Assad has been removed, and the Ayatollahs are becoming defenseless. The leaders of the land of no choice have given their people freedom, security, and safety for years to come. Furthermore, it has freed countless millions from the tyranny of Iran and its proxies, Assad, Hamas, Hezbollah, and Islamic Jihad. The land and people of no choice is giving the people and countries of the region a choice.
I'm a co-sponsor of the bipartisan Prime Minister Golda Meir Commemorative Coin Act, and with the public support of over half the House, this bill is worthy of prompt passage. But whatever the timing, I can say one of the lessons of my life has been the power of persistence. I've had the great joy to visit Israel more than once and to see Jerusalem, an important and historic site to people of faith all over the world. Israel is a dependable friend to the United States.
Thank you, Bobby Rechnitz, and for that introduction, and to you and to Ezra Friedlander for organizing this event. Israel has valiantly shown the world that it has both the strength of arms and the strength of will to defend the Jewish people against the unspeakable barbarism that was unleashed against them 14 months ago. Israel has demonstrated the resolve and the resourcefulness to reach into the deepest crevices of the Iranian dictatorship and of its proxies in order to defend itself, and perhaps more so than any time since the founding of Israel. This year transformed the vow never again into action and fulfillment.
I want to thank everybody that you're all here and inviting me for the celebration in regards to the gold medal for Golda Meir. Here's a lady that was before her time. She's one of the golden and iron ladies of that era. Okay, I'll swallow this. You know she was an Iron Lady, but she had this knack of kind of being humble. So one of the royal quotes I hold is, she said, I can't tell you whether women are better than men, but I can certainly tell you they're no worse. You know, I think those are things that, you know, are common sense, and it's what we miss out today on. Her most famous one to me was, in Israel there'll be no peace until Palestinian women love their children more than they hate Israel. That is more pertinent today than it ever was in the past, or equal to. So when we start looking at people who make those choices to move forward in the times of adversity, remember, those become our leaders and our heroes. That's what's going on in Israel today. You have a leader there that's doing that, as the leaders of Golda Meir did in the past. Thank you very much. And I'll let you be. Sorry.
Despite what you hear, the masses of support you have in Congress is real. You do have a faction that does not agree with that, but I think we're outnumbering them, and we'll continue to outnumber them as we enter the 119th Congress. The commemorative coin with Golda Meir is special, something that was easy to support. But I look forward to a long-standing relationship to only grow further and grow deeper and grow richer because of what Israel stands for. Thank you for what you're doing. What your presence here means in Congress is monumental. Don't ever let anybody sell you short on that. But you have to be your own advocate, and you've got a willing ally with me and so many others. So Godspeed. Thank you.
Fortunately, I also have to say that we acknowledge that anti-Semitism is on the rise in the Netherlands, in many other European countries, in the US. We acknowledge this, and it is wrong. Our government is taking this very seriously and has just adopted an action plan to combat anti-Semitism. It means that we will spend €4.5 million extra per year on combating anti-Semitism. That money will go to better protection of Jewish institutions, more education, better education, and also more commemorative events like the one that you're organizing today. And hopefully we can change that trend to a more positive trend and get rid of this horrible discrimination and anti-Semitism. Thank you very much.
I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the New Jersey State Police Troopers, 2 of the Jewish Troopers Association, and 1 of the Muslim Troopers Association. Thank you so much for being here, Captain Grossman, Lieutenant Zislin, and Sergeant Malik. Thank you, all of them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the incredibly kind recognition, and it's really wonderful to be able to be surrounded by friends as we celebrate the kinship between the United States and Israel. Before I begin, I want to thank Bobby Rechnitz for his advocacy as chairman of the Golda Meir Commemorative Coin Committee. Thank you so much. This is starting to be humorous, the number of events that we come together for, that Bobby is introducing me, and I am thanking him. And his, speaking of legendary advocacy, your commitment to the Jewish people and to the notion of l'dor v'dor, and ensuring that we have the kind of continuity for our community down through the generations, and that we never forget what has come before us, is so incredibly important. So thank you very, very much. I'm also grateful to my colleague, Congressman Garbarino, for joining me to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Israel's independence and the enduring strength of the U.S.-Israel relationship. Together, he and I introduced H.R. 987, a long overdue tribute to a founder of the State of Israel and a fierce advocate for our bilateral relationship, Golda Meir. Unfortunately, we didn't cross the finish line this Congress. I will tell you that the Congressman and I did our job. We got super close, and we would love for our friends in the Senate in the next Congress to make this a little bit of a higher priority, because really the cause is too great. Golda Meir's legacy and her experience is the Jewish experience. And I would be remiss, of course, he's run off to organizing some corner of the room now, but I would be remiss, like he always does, if I didn't acknowledge the incredible work of Ezra Friedlander as well, who is the glue of every cause that we try to advance here that are priorities of the Jewish people. So thank you so much, Ezra. I'm also proud of the work that we continue to do in Congress towards the goal of reinforcing Israel's security and our mutual interests in the Middle East. Along with my Appropriations Committee colleagues, we secured $3.3 billion in direct security assistance to Israel in the last Congress, and we extended loan guarantees to Israel beyond 2028, ensuring that our partnership with Israel endures into the next generation. This Congress, we also secured vital security assistance for Israel. These critical investments will safeguard Israel from emerging threats and from weapons of mass destruction to state-sponsored terror. I'd be remiss not to mention that we must all join together and plead with all peace-loving nations to call on Hamas to lay down their arms and renounce their sworn commitment to destroy Israel and the killing of Jews. That is something that we have to continue to be relentless about. Hamas can end the suffering of Israelis and innocent Palestinians right now, just as they could end the heartbreak and the suffering of the hostage families who desperately want to see their loved ones reunited. A weakened Hamas and defeated Hezbollah offers hope. Let's pray that momentum for peace continues in this region that Golda Meir left such a mark upon.
Israel has been fighting a multi-front war every single day since October 7th at a level that is unlike anything the country has faced. I'm proud that President Biden was the first president ever in American history, in Israel history, to visit Israel at a time of war. I remember I was talking about family. I'll keep it on family. My son's birthday is April 14th. April 14th this year was a remarkable moment as we literally held our breath as we announced that rockets and drones had been launched from Iran. And yet the United States and Israel and other allies in the region united together, not coming together on April 13th, but demonstrating the importance of the relationship and the work that happened for months and years before April 14th to thwart that attack. We understand, and we always understand and must always declare that Israel's existence, Israel's security, Israel's identity as the Jewish state, the homeland of the Jewish people, is not up for negotiation, not today, not ever. And the spirit is alive in Israel today as it always has been, in its people and its innovation and its resilience. It's also alive in the work we, Kim and I and others, do here in Congress, whether it's supporting legislation like the Golda Meir Commemorative Coin Act or advancing regional peace through frameworks like the Abraham Accords. And we will continue to support, through the Abraham Accords caucus, the work towards peace.
Personal experience, not with Golda Meir, but as a kid, when I was in 7th grade, I had an assignment to write about a role model or a hero. And I went to my mom and said, I don't know, who should I write about? Because I was 12, 13 years old at the time. And she said, oh, you should do it about Golda Meir. And I said, well, who's that? And she said, we're going to the library. Maybe she said, go to the encyclopedia first and then go to the library. And I read a book about her. And truly, she became a hero and a role model. And I had no idea just how much of a role model, because I had no idea I would be entering politics as a very, very small shadow. But it is women who pave the path for other women. The last thing that I just want to comment on as I think about how proud I am of her and of the state of Israel, I wanted to let you know that this is a time, and I'm sure many of you are feeling this, where, when about half the Jewish population in the world lives in the U.S., half the Jewish population in the world lives in Israel. Right now, many of us don't feel completely safe anywhere in the world. It's been a very unsettling time. And so I want you to know, and Brad mentioned this, that we have our own private chat, a group chat, where we have stood together and supported each other since October 7th in particular. And it has been a lifesaver for me here in the Congress, in addition to frequent texts with my rabbi. So Am Yisrael Chai, and I am thrilled to honor Golda Meir today.
Thank you very much. I greet you all from Africa. It's an honor to be here. I was invited by my friend Gil Capen. I work as the Africa Director, Israel Allies Foundation, operating in 23 countries. And what we do is that we mobilize political capital for Israel, and we demobilize hate against Israel. We operate in 23 countries through parliamentary caucuses. And in September, we gathered together through the direction of God 23 parliamentarians from 23 African nations and did the first Addis Ababa declaration in support of the state of Israel. And that declaration gave Israel a diplomatic capital through faith-based diplomacy and parliamentary diplomacy to be able to caucus for the shared interest that we have together. Today is indeed a great day when we honor one of the greatest women who walked on earth. Why is that important for Africa? Zionism, indeed, is the greatest model for nationalism. The Bible says that to whom much is given, much is required. Israel is the model that will deliver the world from its complexities. The Bible has a concept called the Jew first. I'm not saying that because I want to glorify the Jew, but God has a plan and a concept going forward, and that's what we follow. Golda Meir modeled independence for African nations, and this is something that you can go and look up. In 1948, when Israel gathered its independence, the African nation looked at the concept that Israel had put forth, and they realized that they are able to fight their colonizers through the things that they have together in terms of their unique identities, unique languages, and unique borders. And therefore, Israel assisted Africa to be able to decolonize itself and establish the concept of nationalism going forward. And Golda Meir was central to this aspect.
It's a difficult period, but one where we are literally seeing history being written and rewritten daily. Since the devastating October 7th attacks, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has demonstrated unwavering leadership in the face of grave threats to his nation and to the values that we all hold dear. In the wake of these attacks, Netanyahu swiftly recognized the state of the regional threats, understanding that Israel's security was intertwined with the stability of the broader Middle East. He has been resolute in ensuring Israel's defense while confronting the rise of a radical extremism that seeks to destabilize not only Israel, but the entire free world. Under his leadership, Israel has taken decisive action to safeguard its citizens, sending a clear message to those who seek to destroy democracy and promote terror. He has decimated Hamas, destroyed Hezbollah's ability to strike Israel, weakened Iran, and as it moves closer to nuclear weapons ability, and on his watch, the butcher of Syria is gone. The region is changing. Terrorism is losing, and those who aspire for a better tomorrow, free of the radical Ayatollah strangleholds, are able to breathe and dream again. Prime Minister Netanyahu's commitment to defending freedom and democracy is evident in every single decision that he makes. He stands as a bulwark against the forces of radicalism, ensuring that Israel not only survives, but thrives in a region fraught with danger. Netanyahu's leadership transcends borders. He has demonstrated that he is a steadfast ally of the U.S. and a critical partner in our shared fight against extremism. He understands that the battle Israel faces is not just for its survival, but for the preservation of a free world. Therefore, Prime Minister Netanyahu deserves the ultimate support of the United States Congress. His leadership is not only safeguarding Israel's future, but also standing strong in the defense in freedom and democracy for all. Together, we must stand with him in this fight for a better and more secure world. Your support for the Golda Meir commemorative coin is much more than just symbolic. We have a new Congress being sworn in, just as we had almost 100 members of the House come in 2 years ago. Many of these new members most probably came from the university system in the United States. We know that that system today is facing a lot of challenges, especially fraught with anti-Semitism, as we heard from Shabbos Kestenbaum. Nothing is more important than highlighting the U.S.-Israel cooperation, dedication to one another, and the U.S.'s preservation of its only democratic ally in the Middle East. And by supporting the Golda Meir commemorative coin, you're highlighting that relationship and you're cementing that relationship, and that's why these events are so important. They go beyond the expression goodwill. They go to actually advocating and moving things in a positive direction and educating new members of Congress coming in as to how important this relationship is. So I thank you all for attending. We thank all the congressional members for their support and wish everyone a wonderful afternoon.